Hello, everyone. Welcome to Loud and Proud Orlando. It's Monday, August the 12th, 7:38 p.m. Thank you so much for being live with us here tonight. Thank you for your support. Definitely not very good news. I mean, penalties are Russian roulette. They're very unpredictable. I think Orlando, after being better in 90 minutes, were not able to capitalize on Cruz Azul, and unfortunately are eliminated of Leagues Cup contention. So Leagues Cup is done for us. I guess you could take it as a positive. In a way, Orlando now with this whole free time, they're gonna, from what I've been told, they're gonna go straight to work. They're gonna continue working. Oscar, if you check the post game footage on our YouTube channel, he mentioned they might get only maybe a couple of days rest and then they go back into training normal. So they're gonna get about 2 weeks or so of just full time training to prepare for Sporting KC, right? And pretty much every game after this now in the MLS, it counts now. So it counts. It's something that we need to get major points and continue the quest on going into playoffs in a great position, and then obviously, hopefully, lifting some silverware this year. With me is John, and today we're going to be talking about Cruz Azul, what happened with La Máquina, and then also who is, I don't know, part of my French. Is it Heine?
Heine Bruseth, I think.
Oh, Heine.
Heine. I don't
Okay.
think they say the
Heine
other E.
Bruces.
Heine Bruseth.
I thought it was Heine. Like,
We dropped the Gilkling, which was like another middle
oh,
name.
there you
We're
go.
just going with Heine Bruseth.
Heine
Bruseth.
Bruces. How are you,
Yeah,
John? How's
I was
everything?
Bruseth,
Good
I'm
to see you
good,
this
buddy.
weekend.
Yeah, we got to hang out this weekend. That was fun. We went to the Pride watch party.
That's right.
So that was cool to watch USA lift it. Sad for Marta and Angelina and our other Brazilian players. They got silver though, so that was awesome. And yeah, a little bit not so fun on Friday night, gotta say. Probably gonna be up there as one of my least enjoyable evenings at that stadium, I gotta say. It was not fun watching what kind of felt like Cruz Azul away game at times.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, um, I read something online about people complaining about them not signing, giving away autographs to the wall. Um, Look, the ruckus was there. They were loud. They were proud. They were supporting the team, and if the team felt the necessity of going out of their way and giving away free jerseys, if that's because that's what the post said pretty much that I was reading there, it's on them. They were loud the whole nine. It was a Cruz Azul, and we said it here. It's a big team. There's going to be a lot of people coming in. Mexican a turnout. The Mexican turnout was pretty heavy for this game, and you could hear Azul louder than louder than OCSC, right? It's crazy. Now, is that the image we want to portray when we're kind of comparing two leagues? Probably not. Probably. Are you validating what a lot of other people say across the world about what the MLS is? There's a manufacturer league with the same chance, maybe every single team, lack of identity. When you have a turnout like that and you allow the rival team to go ahead and take over, it's just common sense. But then again, there's a no judge zone, but it definitely felt it was pretty odd being there. Trust me, as press too. We had a lot of people from Mexico coming in there too. So you know, now Cruz Azul has it pretty easy because they're gonna go get Mazatlan, and we'll discuss all of that today. What about you, John? What do you want to say about that?
Yeah, man, I just think it just would made me sad, I gotta say. Like I don't blame the people that weren't there. I think that, lots of reasons that I agree with, like Leagues Cup controversy being one, Leagues Cup like not interest being another, right? This is not just Orlando City. This is
Yep.
happening across Leagues Cup. Last year it came out with a splash and Messi was here and attendance was good. Well, this year attendance is bad across the board. So I don't think it's just us, but you have to understand. People have to understand that a team like Cruz Azul comes with way more history and way more of a fan base than we
Correct.
have at all right now. And so in a game like this, they have the mentality of it's my team. I'm going to come out no matter what. And literally these Mexican, teams, the Mexican league wants to be here for that exact reason. So we knew they were going to come out in force. And I think it just, I'm not blaming people for not being there. It just sucked. That's all I'm going to say. It just, that feeling of like we are outnumbered in our own house totally sucked. And some people will say, that's what we wanted. Like we wanted to have that effect or whatever. But I don't think the league, is like, oh, there was a boycott in Orlando. That was a real problem for us. I don't think they're going to care. So I don't think it
No.
makes a difference. Like not to be offending anybody. I just don't think it does. And I also think the people that really suffered were the players. And like they actually played a really good game. And I
Yeah.
felt like that PK shootout at the wrong end of the stadium against what felt like an away end, really, for Cruz Azul, I think that affected them. And I think the whole night, I think it did affect them. I think they, where was the 12th man? The 12th man wasn't there. And I think they felt that. And I think that for me is what really sucks because
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
let down the boys. That's what sucks.
Yeah. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I also,
By the way, who had nothing to do with any of it. You know what I mean? So it's like they don't choose the schedule. They don't choose to be in Leagues Cup,
right.
whatever your reason. The players just have to play. So I
Yeah.
mean, I
If,
just feel like it should be better for them than that. That
people,
sucked.
people that stuck to their guns and said, I'm not going, I'm not supporting that, I commend you. You're within your right. And that's great. That's your decision. That's fantastic. Like I said, this is no judge zone here. We're just saying how we felt it. Me as a pres, John as being there as a fan. But when you flip flop, that's another situation. Because I saw some faces around the stadium that they said I will never support this, and they were there. Just saying, and that's what makes us look pretty bad. And honestly, it's like that sometimes. It's like you're talking, keyboarding, typing your words, but in the end, you do show up and support Leagues Cup no matter what, but being there. So
I mean, I'm glad Leagues Cup is over
right,
for us. Really, like let's
yeah, me too. But
another year we don't have to deal with it or talk about it and all those things. Like it was, like we said before, we cover it. We're not massive fans of what's happening
yeah,
here,
yeah,
and I'm kind of slightly pleased that it's not sold well.
yeah.
I want to, I think Don has to understand, Mr. Garber, that right, like you can't just invent a tournament and expect people to be interested because it's MLS and MX. Like just like the Open Cup, you got to do it right. You got to spend the time and effort and energy and money to sell this thing because your average American fan, and this is something a lot of people forget, Luis, they know what a league is. Like they'll follow NFL or MLB or whatever, but there other sports in America don't have cups and things. So I
Yeah,
don't know if
and
we've talked
and
about that before. So it's like selling a cup is hard no matter what the cup is because people are like an extra thing. What is that? Like I just follow the league.
and I think this year there's been negativity coming from both ends. Last year, because Messi played the whole cup, you really didn't feel it because Messi will bring those casual fans over. This year, you not only didn't have Messi, but you had Mexican press saying, "Why are we playing this crap? We should be literally not interrupting our tournament, our league. We should not interrupt our league for this. Doesn't make any sense. Fans are not going to go to see their team twice. They're going to choose either I want to go to the local league game or I want to go uh, spend time going to the United States, crossing the border, get my passport. You know, So you're giving people choices, so they're gonna choose. Now before they will do the jump because of Messi. Now there's no Messi. You see what I'm saying? So it's just they just gotta and this again, this is just a suggestion. Again, I am nobody. They need to rebrand this a little better because Messi only maybe has one season left. Maybe after this season, he decides to call it quits, or after the World Cup. And then what's going to happen with the League Cup? Who's going to watch it?
Yo, the Miami attendance this League's Cup
Yeah.
without is horrific. Like we think ours is
Yep.
bad.
It was bad.
Atlanta, like there's been really really bad attendance. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
agree
they
with
got to
all that,
rebrand that.
Luis.
They got to rebrand it.
Yeah, but I think for this game, it was just like there's usually a certain amount of like hardcore fans that come, and even this one, it felt like everybody had sold their ticket to a Cruz Azul fan because
Correct.
they don't care
Yeah.
about Leagues Cup, or they didn't buy a ticket because the first two were included, and then you see, okay, if it's not included, how much of a drop off are you getting? A lot of a drop off, and yeah, it was just bad.
Now, one thing that really kind of, and again, it's just again, it's my opinion. It's like, for example, like I'm actually covering, I'm actually working those games, so I'm doing my report, and I put, I think it was last game was like 17,000 or something like that, and then people, and again, this is strolls. I laugh, but it's like, 11,000 Cruz Azul fans and only 6,000. It's like, no, bro. There was probably around 10,000 people, or
If
there was
that,
probably the 17,000 there.
I don't know.
Like
They released the number of
you,
it's
yeah,
never actually the number of people through the door. It's never that. It's
yeah,
tickets
of
sold.
course, but
So
it's
if there's tickets sold that people didn't come, I
yeah,
don't think
but
there
they're
are
wearing yeah,
17,000.
but they're wearing 6,000 people there in
Right.
that
I'm just
event.
talking
You
like
know what I mean? So
maybe we broke 10,000, and
right,
of that, 70% of them were
or
probably Cruz
probably we
Azul fans.
broke 14,000.
I don't know, but
So,
it
but
was
but
bad.
but what I'm saying is, do you know if you're not there, why you tweet it? You're not there. You're not supposed. You shouldn't even tweet about it. You don't. You're not there. So
Yeah.
just by saying that, you're just being a dick because you just pretty much now the players read that. The players read it. Do you think they don't have internet? They don't have like an Android or an iPhone? Of course. And they're like, yo, so this guy's in the supporter group and he's tweeting this shiza. Like, come on, man. Yo, I'm giving my jersey to somebody else. Hey, I'm not giving this guy nothing. Not even the time of day. I'm not even going to the parking lot. He's gonna wait for me to ask me for an autograph from outside gate D. I'm not even gonna do that. And they're within their right too. So that's what I'm saying, guys. So, if you're gonna be and for the boycott, don't don't even peek out. And I've seen people peek out that they vouch said, hey, I'm not doing that. I will never support it. And they were there. They were
Yeah, I
there.
mean, I think you can not like the Leagues Cup, but intentionally wishing downfall on the
Yeah, on the team.
attendance or
On
the
the team.
or the
Yeah.
team, I think is
It's like,
a little bit far.
yeah.
Anyway, should we go through the highlights? Enough
Yeah,
about
sure.
the
Yeah. We have the
poor
highlights right
attendance.
here. Again, like John said, it was a great game in my opinion. I think unfortunately, soccer is not of who deserves to win. It's just who scores the goals. And and when it comes to penalty kicks, unfortunately, it is like that. It's a Russian roulette. So this was the lineup for the Lions. So Galese up top, Dagerdan, Brecalo, Jensen, Santos, Cesar, Wilder, and then Ivan, Martin, Facu, and then Enrique up top. Now, for the first time, John, we nailed it. I think so. The
I
lineup.
think it kind of picked itself this one.
Yeah, right. That's
With
what
no
Alonso told
Smith.
me. It's like you didn't win anything. He's like,
No Smith, the rest was pretty obvious, but always
yeah,
nice to get some things right sometimes.
yeah,
We make
definitely.
a lot of guesses here. A
Yeah,
lot of educated guesses.
Yeah, true. I mean, we've been doing it for a long time now, so it kind of makes sense. So, anyways, let's watch some of the highlights
Defensively
here.
oriented tonight, making sure that he's got balance on both sides of the ball. Head coach Martin Anselmi unchanged.
Now, when you look at the lineup for Cruz Azul, they were really physical in the beginning of the game. Like obviously overly physical, especially POV with that tackle against Facu, with which we'll watch in just a moment. But what were your when they first started like playing? What were your first thoughts about Cruz Azul, John, when you saw them play?
Um, Pretty much as I expected, really. I think that they obviously have a good, solid defense about them. But we were able to make chances. So I think they performed as expected. They're just very difficult to beat, but they're not the best at taking their chances either. So it was kind of like a stalemate of like both teams know how to defend, but both teams are not, putting the ball in the back of the net. I think us more than them fell prey to that. Like we really had some chances that on another day we'd have put away and we'd have won this game. And they had some too as well, but overall, I think we had more of them. So it's just a shame that we didn't take them, and they, like I said, performed as expected. Very good defensively. I think their goalkeeper had an absolute, worldie of a match,
Yeah,
and is might just win them this whole freaking tournament if he's going to play like that every game.
yeah, correct. He's making the case to play for the Colombian national team for sure. And I will say, Coach Martin Anselmi, gentleman, he praised tremendously Orlando, and praised tremendously Oscar, praised tremendously Orlando as an organization, and the MLS. He like you have to understand, he comes from the Chilean league. He played in a top team there in Chile, pretty competitive soccer. He played in Independiente del Valle in Ecuador, one of the most kind of like a Barcelona there. They leave a lot of youth. They develop a lot of youth players for South America. That's where Caicedo from Chelsea came from. So, like, he was Caicedo's coach. So he's the one who pretty much promoted Caicedo. So he comes to this team that was losing, turns it around, top of the table, eliminated Orlando City, and he had massive words. You guys want to check it out? Massive words for Orlando, saying, and I'm gonna quote it real quick. If Orlando would play the MX, that's what he said. If Orlando would play the MX, they will be competing for the MX title right now. Like this was he said we were their toughest opponent they've had. Like I think since he came in the league to play for Cruz Azul. So that's huge. That's huge, and it was insane.
From the side that went to penalties against Philadelphia. Referee Fernando Guerrero checking his watch to make sure that we're synced up. Orlando City in the purple, Cruz Azul in the white. And with that, Leagues Cup group play is underway in 2024. It's great to have you with us on a hot, humid. It's really a chance for them to show that this run they've been on over the last 7 games.
So hot, by the way.
It was
like
hot.
it was like, and like Floridians, I'm not complaining about the heat, but this one, it was like dark, but yet I was sweating from every pore of my body. I don't even know.
Plus, if
Like
you're
the
drinking, that
humidity was through the roof.
that makes you hotter too. If
Oh
you're
my,
drinking,
like literally,
right?
I like there was no breeze. It was insane. So yeah, this one I remember being really, really hot. And he's like Enrique, anywhere else there in that area, and it goes in, right? Like it's right at the keeper's face, and he saves it right in front of him. It's a great save.
Yeah, that one was the closest to me, the closest chance
Yeah.
that they got, and Mier was right
Good
there.
first touch there, Enrique.
And again,
What a save.
Enrique was hot. He's definitely showing that he wants to score every single game. So
Good save, and it's cleared away by Piovi.
They had a few good chances like that on the outside of our box where they played like balls to each other and hit long shots. They definitely could have scored one or two themselves throughout the game, but I feel like we had the better chances. Like according to SofaScore, we had one big chance and they had no big chances. So
sure.
I don't know exactly what they talk about as a big chance, but I think our quality of opportunities was a little bit better than Cruz Azul's throughout the night.
All right. I mean, that was Dagger in the first half. Unfortunately, it wasn't Dagger's night, in my opinion.
I think he, like we talked about before, Rotondi is one of their best players. He's playing left wing back, and Dagger is used to being able to do a lot of what he wants to do up and down that right wing, and Rotondi was giving him a lot of trouble both on the attacking side and defending as well. So, hey, it's Dagger's gonna have nights like that. Like he's a great right back, but there's going to be times where you lose in those one-on-one battles on the wing, like it happens to old fullbacks. Sometimes you come up against a player that they got your number, and sadly on this night, Dagger just was losing out a bit here and there to the one-on-ones, especially.
Yeah, no, that doesn't mean that we hate Dagger and that we should get Ruan of the of a trade for Gam. We'll discuss later. That means that he just had a bad night. And again, I agree with John. He had his number the whole entire
Well,
match.
they're playing that like wing back formation as well,
Correct.
so he's getting doubled up a lot. And
Plus, Cruz Azul and Anselmi's teams, they are kind of like Oscars. They truly try to get as much footage possible. Regarding the rivals. So I'm sure they've watched a couple of games of Orlando with Dagger going beast mode, and they're like, no, we got to stop this kid. We got to make it difficult for him to create and to defend, and that's what they did.
Giacomakis, and he's going to have a go. But
what do you think about Giacomakis? I think our backline did pretty good against him.
He like. I don't know if he just learned how to dive more since he went to Mexico.
Yeah,
I don't remember him being such a I'm gonna say, whiny B word, right? Like he was just
that was annoying
the whole time, just complaining and getting on the ground. And I feel like Jansen got in his head or something early, and then that was it. He just like lost it early and hated the ref, hated everything, just was complaining about nothing fouls or like nothing touches. I think he's whatever he had at Atlanta, he's lost it going to Mexico. I can see why the Cruz Azul fans are not liking him, because he was not doing much good up there, but not the Giacomakis that we've seen.
He's in a scoring drought, according to friends from the Mexican media, and the whole entire team. And that's what we mentioned on the last pod, previewing the game. They are going to try to play physical. They're trying to get in your head. They're going to try to flop and roll over 30 million times. They were doing that the whole entire match. And the ref was allowing it too.
Oh my God, this ref, dude.
This ref, and and honestly, look, and this is another thing for the MLS. I don't know, was the ref Mexican?
I think someone said he was, yeah.
Okay, so and again, I think they should have put a Honduran, a Costa Rican, I don't know. It's just,
I think there's a lack of good.
Yeah, it's a little biased.
Other nations that are good refs outside of U.S. and Mexico. I'm sure they're two of the best
if you
refs in this region.
Right, but John, if you want to make your league scup better, like get good refereeing. Go and pay somebody from CONMEBOL to come and fly him over to do the game or anything. You know what I mean?
He was so loose, man. That's the word I would like. He was just like whatever to everything. And there was that tackle of Facu where the guy completely crunch tackled Facu, like took his legs out from underneath him, and the guy just like the ref's like, oh, it's just ball, like points at the ball, he may have got the ball like momentarily before crunching the guy with two legs sliding on the ground. Like that's a foul because it's a dangerous tackle. It doesn't matter if you got the ball or not. Like
there should have been at least a yellow card.
There was I mean, they had one yellow card from their 9 fouls, and we had one yellow card from our 10 fouls. Apparently, I think there was a lot more fouls in there than that he just was like, that's not a foul, and there should have been yellow cards. Those yellow cards didn't come till late, So the game just, yeah, it was just a lot of he let the players get away with a lot. I think.
Yeah.
I think you gotta put the yellow cards out a little bit earlier. I'm all for like an open game. I like that. But you can't just ignore stuff and be like, oh, he got the ball. Like, no, he killed the player. Yeah, the 85th minute was their first yellow. Brekalo, by the way, got our yellow for absolutely nothing in the 46th minute. So, but they didn't get one until the 85th, and they were definitely putting in some dangerous challenges, which should have warranted one earlier than that, in my opinion.
Let's read some comments real quick. We have thank you to big our people from Instagram right here. ABG Miguel. At least Orlando City remains undefeated for 8 games. Thank you to also to Chago0001, Sam Dole, Big Allen M, and Gabriel Freitas 012. Thank you so much for watching on Instagram. Drop us your comment. We also have on YouTube, Miss Francis says, what do you think about Maguire and Luis Muriel coming in at the 77th minute? Seemed a little late considering Cruz Azul were doing substitutions earlier. What are your thoughts regarding that, John?
Definitely would have liked Duncan to come on earlier. I was talking, I was sitting with Paulo at this game, and we were like, around the 50th, 60th minute, we were like, put Enrique to the left wing, like take Ojeda Facu off, and then put Duncan on. And instead he went for Muriel and Duncan. And I don't want to bag on Muriel too much, bro, but I just didn't have any faith when he brings him on in this game. I'm just like, we need a goal, and you're looking at Muriel, and I think that says everything about him right now. And he came on and looked slow, and there was one time when he lost the ball.
Correct.
It was just a really bad giveaway, and they had a great, counterattack and chance, and it was the perfect example of exactly why Muriel isn't working, because the ball comes to him and he's just too slow with it, and they immediately take it off him and they go. And that happens all the time. And so until he can actually
run,
not get, dispossessed, like, because that's what's happening. They get up the field, they pass to Muriel, he gets dispossessed. He tries to do something, doesn't work. He tries to pass, doesn't work. He tries to run, doesn't work. So until he's not going to do that, I just don't see what good he's doing on the field, honestly. And I think that it kind of killed our attack, I think, as well. And I think Duncan was always supposed to come on, and I maybe could have been earlier. But Muriel, I understand why Oscar brings him on. I don't think anything good comes from him being on the field right now. And it's sad to say, but it's true.
Well, I have a similar assessment as you to answer on to Ms. Francis' question. I think Luis Muriel right now, he's kind of like, he's just not physically fit. It kind of slows down the transition play for Orlando City a little bit. Now, I feel that the reason why Oscar did this because of penalties. I think Oscar was already thinking about penalties. Now, yeah, and I think also he didn't want to overkill his only striker that's currently working and scoring goals, which is Ramiro. So I think also it would have been a little better to bring, I think, Nico a little early too. I think that would have helped kind of hone down, because at some point Cartagena ended up again playing in the back line. So it was so I guess
in order to make that work, he went to the 5 back.
Right. So that's those are things. Now with Muriel, again, just like a lot of some signings pan out the way we want to, some signings don't. In this scenario, he needs to be game fit for next season, in my opinion. I really feel, he needs to be game fit. So for example, if Duncan Maguire loses the ball, John, I see him running back towards the wall, towards the ball. If Nico loses the ball, because this particular game was turnover fest for Orlando City, in my opinion. They've turned over the ball more than other games that I've seen in this 8-game winning streak run or whatnot. So when like I just didn't see the same. I don't know if it's stamina, if it's like, hey, this is not my role. I'm not supposed to run back for the ball. But it just kind of slows down when everybody's trying to work collectively. He just kind of drags it, right?
Well, it's like Oscar was talking about, like with the Ojeda, right? There's expectations of Oscar and his team. You have to do the other side of the ball. And like Facu came
Yeah,
and he learned that lesson, and Ojeda has learned that lesson,
yeah.
and Muriel
Ramiro too.
he needs to learn that lesson. Like
Yeah,
you can't just, and especially if you're not providing anything in the attack like he isn't right now. So you're just a luxury player that
right,
isn't providing anything.
right.
That's recipe for not getting on the field at all, in my opinion. So he has to not only retain the ball better, but we need to see the pressing. And Duncan is a what they call like a defensive forward, and Enrique does it too. Enrique was pressing them a lot in this game, and we don't see any of that from Muriel. And I think he just dwells on the ball too long, more than anything, Luis. But
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
were saying on the fitness for next season, I think is interesting. I don't know, Lo. If he's had a whole season to get fit enough, and he still isn't. Does that mean that he's never going to be fit enough? Like, I'm just saying
No, he
that
has to. He has to. I
before in
mean,
Oscar's, turning guys around, it didn't take this long, and
mhm.
I'm just worried that he's never gonna. At what point do we say we should cut our losses?
Well, if next season, like around this time, like I will say, Orlando, look, bro, I buy you out if you want to be a free agent. Like figure out a way. But I just think, um, he needs to be fit for I mean to do that running, and there's a lot of running in the MLS.
Yeah,
I mean, clearly, I mean, even Anselmi said this is a very physical league. This is one of the most physical leagues. Like opponents, he's faced Philly, he's faced Vancouver, and now he's faced Orlando. So he says from the three teams I face, this is
Charlotte, but yeah,
and Charlotte, sorry, Charlotte, Philly, and Orlando. Like it's physically demanding for my team. Like so it is. I felt like he was just trying to nutmeg somebody, and that's it. Like I was like, bro, that doesn't count. But either way, moving on. Let's keep watching the highlights real.
this is not a foul for one. And
Correct.
then he gives Breckel, like Giacomakis just buys this. The ref is miles away. Look, by the way, this is bad reffing. If anybody wants
No,
to judge a ref, I judge that ref by how far away he is right there.
yeah, correct.
You
And
gotta keep up with the play. And this is why he can't see it all. He's just assuming it's a foul because Giacomakis flies on the ground. And I think that's the worst kind of reffing. Stop giving fouls because you think you saw something. You didn't actually see it at all, and you're miles away.
when you have a World Cup qualifiers game, and let's say it's Peru Venezuela, you're not gonna go ahead and a Venezuelan ref gonna be the ref. You know what I mean? So Fernando Guerrero Ramirez, I think that's the guy. Uh, like, how do you don't know that maybe his wife is a Cruz Azul fan and it's their anniversary tomorrow? you know,
Well, I don't
how do you
think
don't know?
anything.
How do you know? How do
I
you
don't
know
want
that
to
he's?
think this
But
guy is. I just
but
think
we
he's
have
incompetent. I don't think that he's
but we have to think this
biased.
way, John. I feel we have to think this way because I mean
No,
it's
I think
stupid.
he was given away. I think it was both. I think he was bad for both sides. Like he just didn't. He was blind. Like he just couldn't see a foul or a real foul or an actual foul, and
Yeah, but
called
you don't.
everything wrong all night.
All right. So if England plays France, okay. So if Chelsea plays PSG, are you gonna have a French ref or an English ref?
No, I get what you're saying. I
Right.
do. I
So
understand that
right.
completely,
So
and
it just
it does play into it. But
right.
also,
So
like intra league, if we're MLS, it's all ref by American refs. How much? I mean, I'm sure they're vetting them, but how much of that is happening in Leagues Cup? I don't know.
get the Caribbean refs or something. You know what I mean? Like, so because it's
But
just,
honestly, the standard might be worse. Like
but,
I
you know,
understand, but I
right?
just think we're in a part of the world where the refs are bad, and the
Yeah,
refs from smaller countries are probably worse than the refs from the bigger, more developed soccer countries.
I don't know, but it
So
seems like it
don't
seems
wish
like.
for even worse refs, Luis.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I mean, like, in order to make money, you have to invest. And if I know Caribbean may be bad, but okay, we'll grab somebody from, I don't know, Conmebol and try to ship them out here
Honestly, I would
for
just
this,
import all of our refs from Europe and
or
be
from
done.
Europe. You know what I
Be
mean? Bring
done with
some.
this because I've watched soccer in this country for a long time, and I'll tell you one thing that's never got any better. That is the
Yeah,
reffing. It's always
correct.
been bad.
So let's continue.
There,
That was it.
that one, I was just like, how did he miss that?
That was it. I was like,
Faku
golly.
going for the corner when anything would have put it in at that point. Like the keeper was so flustered. Anything on net would have gone in. I felt, and it just goes wide.
I
Oh
think if he would have scored that goal, I think Orlando would have probably,
yeah.
grabbed
After
the.
we missed that, I was like, that was it. I really
That
felt
was
like
it. Yeah.
that was it was gonna go the other way. At some point, when you ever have that, Luis, you're watching a match and you're like, we haven't scored,
Yep.
and then there's
Yeah.
that chance, and you go, that was it. That was the one.
That's
I
it.
think it's pretty
Yeah.
common
That was
for
it.
soccer
Yeah.
fans.
Wholeheartedly agree.
He's usually so clinical there, and like he just
Correct.
I understand he was under pressure and everything else, but that was just not a good shot. And that was probably our big chance that they're referring to here. That was a clear cut through on goal opportunity, but not the best by Dunk.
Then Petrasso came in, and actually he didn't do bad at all. I
Yo,
think.
I was about to hide behind my
Yeah.
hands when Luca Petrasso was called onto the field, man.
Yeah.
But pleasantly surprised. I think he did really well.
Yeah,
Like
he did really great.
he got beat a few times, but his attacking
Yeah.
play up the left side was really good. He put in
Was
some
really
great
good.
crosses. For a guy that has been away playing Series C,
He got tired of.
I was impressed. I was like, okay, so you went away on loan and you came back and you look like you got better. Like
That's
that's
right.
what we want. That's the whole point of a loan move.
Exactly.
So
He got tired of eating spaghetti and meatballs.
I gotta say, I thought he was gonna come back and we were never gonna see him and he'd be off the books by the end of the year. And I'm nothing against Luca. I think he's a great kid. I just the writing for me when he left was like, we're loaning you because you're not good enough. And then, but if he's improved and come back and Oscar feels comfortable enough to put him in against Cruz Azul,
yeah,
I think that says something about, we're talking about we need a left back. We joked about that, Luis, but maybe Petrasso is an answer where we need another fullback.
So he did speak in the post press conference, mix zone, and we have the footage on our TikTok and in our Instagram. He mentioned that all he wanted and the reason why he went to Italy was because of minutes. He knew that there's probably not going to be a big chunk of minutes him having in Orlando City this season. So he didn't want to just go and play Fortnite at home or go on his phone on the bench. He wanted to actually play soccer. So that's why I
gotta say this. Respect to you, Luca, because there are not enough young players that would do that.
Correct.
That would say to themselves, honestly, I need minutes. I want to go somewhere and go to another country, by the way, and go do low like 6 months in Italy. Like that's like I think that's really cool. And I think that, it's worked, right? Kudos to him.
Correct. Yeah. I mean,
I think that shows intelligence of his age to realize that and do that. Like that's the kind of thing an agent would tell you, but a lot of people would be like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Right. But he did it. Good for him.
Not only that, I mean, he's gonna be a great asset for Orlando now, and is showing it against our top rival. It's great. Penalty shootout. What are your thoughts about Pedro? I think he did fantastic.
Yeah, man. The penalty shootout is rough because it's it's Jansen, who I wouldn't pick for a penalty going first, but he is the captain. And then when he misses the first one, it just kind of
snowballs out of that.
yeah, you're going from a weekend position, and their guy who was it, Rivero, completely missed, and that was like, okay, relief. And then it was okay, they score, we score, they score, we score, and it just when Dagger stepped up, I was like, please don't miss.
He looked not right.
But remember, he was not in the original 5, so he was taking the first of the like, what do you call them? Sudden death penalties. So yeah, and on the guys on the field, remember, at that point, there's not a huge amount of options. So Dagger is gonna have to take one. You never want to see it. And also it broke our undefeated penalty streak, right? I think we had like 9 undefeated penalties, shootouts before this, and this was the 10th. So it's gonna happen. And if we're gonna lose to Cruz Azul on penalties, man, it just reminded me of Tigres. It's like we could really take it to these top Mexican teams, but we just can't get it over the line. And so when this went to penalties, I was like, well,
yeah,
we're not gonna win because it's written in the stars, even though we've got a great penalty record.
Yeah, so Friday's shootout loss, it marked the first time in history that Orlando City lost in penalties. So now
first ever.
Yep.
Does that include USL? I don't know.
That is including USL era. That's right.
Wow.
So we are 10-1 all time dating USL.
That's wild.
When John was like super young and he was ready to get in the pitch, to shoot some penalties right there. We have Miguel Gallardo right there, a keeper. Yeah, long time. It's been a while. But yeah, all time, John, all time. So yeah, look, we cannot kill Dagger, and we cannot kill Robin, but obviously, it is a penalty shootout. These things could happen, right? I mean, the best of the best have missed, right? So, it is a Russian roulette. It could be unpredictable.
And he's denied by
he throwed it. He tried to. Now here he comes. Now, from the beginning, he looked to me either he just didn't look right, in my opinion. So I told Alonso, which was right next to me in the press box, I was like, "Dude, this dude's gonna miss, man." He's like, "What? Don't say it. It's your fault.
It's your fault, Luis. It's Luis's fault.
Said,
you heard it here.
This guy,
he doubted Facu.
Bro, with my backpack on right now, I'll stand on that penalty spot. I'll score on Mier right now.
No,
I look more confident than this guy right now. This guy looked demoralized. I don't know what happened, but
there's a lot of pressure,
Now, this is, I think, why you say that the 12th man should have done something, because
I think this is a way end here. Like we were the whole time, we're getting boos, they're getting all of that. Like it's.
Did you hear the oles?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, we're getting oled in our own turf.
Oh yeah, no, it was. They reminded me of Chelsea fans. Because they just chanted Azul the whole time.
Don't say that, man. Come on,
it's like
man.
Chelsea. Azul. It's the same thing. You just chant one. You just got one word, and you just chant that the whole time. But yeah,
we're better than that, man.
Nah, it's truth, bro. It's the same thing. You go ask Premier League fans what they think about the stupid Chelsea chant, and they'll tell you. And that's, I bet, how people think about the Azul.
That's probably where they got it.
It's just one word. They were doing the wave. It was
the blue. The blue.
Yeah.
Blue. Yeah.
They did have another song, but they didn't sing that till they won. So.
Sorry,
and I heard one person.
You gotta keep the blue flag flying high, man.
Yeah. I don't like Cruz Azul. They've gone on the list. You're on the list, Cruz Azul.
There you go.
Straight on run up. Thor Halson with
a. I think when he paused, you're like, yo, I hate when players do that. They pause, and they it, it gives the keeper time to guess where you're going to shoot.
Daggers does the stutter step, but loses all of his power in the shot, and like makes it very readable. The other guy, that if you're gonna do it, that's how it's supposed to be. Stutter until the guy goes, and then a Dagger didn't sell it, and the guy didn't go. And that's what happens. But I'm not gonna look. Let's not beat up on Dagger, right? Whoever would have missed
we're
the
not gonna beat up
penalty,
on Dagger.
they would have beat. We would have. It's always difficult when you're the guy that missed. But also, Jansen did not take a good penalty as our captain to start us off right. So, I would say he's more to blame.
We just allowed Clarkona Cody. We just allowed Clarkona Cody, Mascotti Groveland fans that never been to one single Orlando City game come in and completely take over and beat us on an elimination through penalties. We're better than that, guys.
Well, I'm I'm Dagger fanboy, so I don't want to say I'm protecting him. It was not a good penalty.
This guy went to Olympia High and he's like Cruz Azul. Come on, man. Well, it is what it is. Jeffrey O says the goalkeeper es un crack. He got in their heads. Oh yeah, I know. Mier is.
Oh, we got to talk for a minute about the ref was being too loose. So I'm saying they just let him get away with everything.
Yeah.
One thing that really pissed me off was what he allowed that goalkeeper to do, which was every single time it was their turn, the goal to take a PK, the goalkeeper does some stupid thing where he goes to collects the ball, takes it to the player, gives it to him, like puts it down, like they have a chit chat. Then eventually the goalkeeper goes off to the side where he's supposed to stand. All of that was like mind games that the ref just let happen. Like he's supposed to go from his spot over here to the goal and back.
Right.
That's it. And he was doing all of this, picking up the ball, delaying the game, chatting with his mates, dabbing them up, all of this stuff. Like it just infuriated me. And the other thing was their coach. Yeah, I know you like the guy, but he needs to learn where his box is.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
The entire game was outside of he was on the field. Like he had 1 foot on the field half the time.
I know. And
the fourth official did nothing. He told him once.
That's right.
And that was it. He didn't get a yellow, nothing. And like I know we sound bitter or whatever, but why have these rules? Like why even bother if you're not gonna? So that just also pissed me off. But hey, Luis, I'm just the guy who watches the coach and whether he lives in the in the box or not, right?
Well, no. I think you're completely right. I think, and that's what I'm saying. It's permissive, and again, as a journalist, I have to think. I have to question. That's a part of journalism. You have to question. So, you're talking about one of the massive teams in Mexico. You're Mexican. You're a referee. More than likely, one of your family members is a Cruz Azul fan, or somehow or another, you may have some sort of ties. Like you have to question. So I don't know. It just makes me think. Okay, so the whole Leagues Cup gets played in the U.S., but then the refs are going to be Mexicans. Like, what's the
I don't care where you're from.
You know what I mean?
A good game. You know what I mean? Like whatever. I don't care if you're from their
all
nation.
Refs. Is this all MX refs? All right, Mahmoud TV on Instagram. Like all MX
well,
refs.
He is used to. Yeah, I will agree with that. Yeah, there's definitely a certain amount of like, oh, everybody fouls and everybody dives, and it's like, nah, we're not allowing that here. But
all right,
whatever. So, I'm just glad we're not having to play another Mexican team for a while because I'm over all the diving, Luis. I'm over it.
Yeah, well, it was cool to see,
everyone's so dramatic.
Yeah. So we'll go on to the next topic. Who is Heine Bruces? Who is he? John.
Who's Heine Bruces? So if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about,
yeah, let me
you want me to share it? Yeah, I'll show you guys. So we talked about this last week, that Heine Giekling-Bruseth is interested in, we are interested in him, and we've been making bids. There was an update on that. Tom last week basically tweeted out that we weren't close to each other on the deal, and he thought it was pretty much over. But there has been reports this week that it is back alive, and that we have upped our bid. I think the latest here, I will pull up right now, reporting that we've upped it to 1.5, I believe, Luis, based on what we're seeing here. So Orlando City multiple offers for Heine Bruseth, despite several advances rejected by Christensen, which is the name of the club that he's at. The MLS club is going all out, offering 1.45 million euros, including bonuses. A quick response is expected since the transfer window ends on August 14th in the USA. So it looks like we've gone back in. He is evaluated somewhere around the 450, like a $500,000 mark-ish on transfer mark. So this is about $1 million more than the evaluation from what we understand. But again, you're getting numbers from a website that was like valued him. It could have been at any point there was a figure thrown out, and that's just a rough estimation. The club might well think that he's worth 145 million euros. 1.45 million euros. We'll have to see. But Luis, your opinion on us going back in for him before we talk a little bit more about who he is and what kind of player we might be signing.
I mean, he's 20 years old. He's under 22 initiative, which is all I think we could sign right now. Now, I think, I mean, it's just very, it's the type of signings that Orlando City makes. And again, I would tell people, look, he only had, in 15 games, 2 goals, 1 assist right now. He's ranked 93rd out of 270 players in Eliteserien. He has a lot of potential to be a really good player for their national team. He's highly regarded. That's why I think they're offering that much. But you have to understand, like, Norway wants to also qualify to the World Cup. So Norway would rather, I think, I don't know how it is in England, John, but like, if you're from Europe and you play in the MLS, and like, there's really not a high chance that they may call you for the national team. So I just don't know. It is a hit or miss to me. I think he's a kid that has a lot of potential. He could play. He has a 922 minutes right here. I'm looking at Foodie stats right now. And it's a type of players that we sign, and they're a low cost, high reward. This could be another Ivan Angulo for all we know, or another Martino Heda, or it could be a Van der Water, because you remember also what happened with Van der Water.
Yeah.
So
I think if they're gonna be prepared to spend this much money on a guy, like you said, that's in that zone, like a sort of potential, prospect out of Europe that we can develop as young, I think it says that he's got a big upside, right? Like, if we're willing to spend this much on a 20-year-old, usually that means to me that they think they can sell him down the line for, at least double or triple that, right? Like, we might be able to make 10 mil off this guy in the future. That's the kind of business I think they would be comfortable doing here. If they feel like it's somebody they're never going to be able to recoup some of that from, maybe then that's a little bit more of a question mark on how much you want to spend on a guy like this. I want to show you, Luis, some info we got on this guy. I did some scouring of the internets to find some information for everybody. So There's this guy here, Kieran. He's just a scout. There's lots of scouts in the world. This man did a whole scouting kind of thread on Heine.
Oh, fantastic.
His name is Heine, by the way. I
Heine.
looked it up. And
Heine.
pronunciation, I can show you.
It's not Heine.
Heine. They say Heine. So your emphasis on the n. Heine. On Heine. Heine has produced positive consistency so far this season in the Eliteserien, which is the Norwegian league.
Yeah.
In this thread, I'll be showcasing some of his key strengths as well as an area for development.
There you go.
So Heine is 20, and his positions, according to this man, is CM/CDM. He played for Kristiansand. We know that he's 5'9". He's got an ectomorph body type.
Ectomorph.
That interesting. He's left-footed. And at the time of this tweet, his transfer marked estimated value was 450,000. So, like I said, we're looking at about $1 million over of what the estimated value is. Key strengths to this man: technical security, passing diversity, ground duel combativeness. So I think somebody who's really good on the ball, good at one-on-ones, someone that can pass, tackle, a real sort of midfielder. Technical security. Heine acquires a technical secure profile and displays positive ambipedal ball reception skills. That means that he can play with both feet. Moreover, when in possession, he is capable of intelligently evading pressure as well as showcasing confidence when maneuvering out of tight spaces. So it's sort of like a Nico, right? In that,
like
that
a
regard.
young Nico.
Yeah, that he can get out of situations. Passing diversity, Brookseth retains the ball positively and is currently registering 83% pass accuracy for this campaign. Bad. The youngster utilizes his diverse passing range efficiently and often plays a key role for Kristiansand in the build-up phase. So really a guy that
going in transition.
Yeah, is good with the ball. Ground duel combativeness. Heine displays tenacity out of possession, frequently occupying the central mid role in a 5-3-2 defensive shape. This is currently averaging impressive 62% success rate in ground duels. So seems like an 8, right? Like a 6, an 8.
Yeah, he's like a 6 or an 8. Yeah.
Yeah, there's more information here from another guy that scouted him, saying Heine is a dynamic box-to-box player who is particularly impressive in one-on-one duels. HBG is what he nicknames him. So maybe we should start calling him HGB, Luis. That's his abbreviation.
HGB.
HGB. Yeah.
A Heartbreak Kid, HGB.
Not HEB, but HGB. That should be our.
We'll call him the Heartbreak Kid.
Could also he can also bring his ball carrier qualities into the play as a technique.
Okay.
Interesting for double 6.
Perfect. Double pivot.
8 or as a defensive 10. So I think we speculate that he could play up in the central mid role. So really anywhere across the midfield is what we're seeing here from this guy. So a few other little things. I did find a few clips online.
Let's watch.
There's a clip here of him doing a little bit of a dribble up the wing. So you guys can have a look.
Can you maximize it?
Here he is, number 17.
There you go.
On the right there. That was it.
I'm watching Dagger Dan.
He made a nice run up the right side. Not a good pass, but that's okay. I found more clips. Here we go on Facebook.
There you go.
I can't get this one to be big, Luis, but you can see here. This is a goal he scored. There he is, number 23 with the headband. I'll give you some sound.
Hey.
Here he is. He had an interview. Here's his goal again. Puts the ball in the box.
Oh.
Nice left-footed finish.
The lefty right there.
I like the headband, I gotta say.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of the headband. Alrighty, I got one more for you. Here we go. In this one, this is a U20s game that he was playing.
From Norway.
Yeah, I don't know if this is Norway. Oh, this is I don't know how to say this. Mondalen U19 boys.
This is from like 4 years ago.
He is number 7 here. This guy. He plays a good pass in a minute. See if I can find it again. I think it's here. Yeah, here he is, number 7.
Oh,
Nice pass.
he dyed his hair.
Yeah, this is when he was younger. Here he is, getting on the edge of the box there. Definitely seems like a guy who crashed the box, you know? Seems like he can pass the ball, he can tackle, he can dribble with the ball.
Now,
Anyway.
do you see him in the first team?
He's been in the first team for Christensen. Yeah, he's playing all the time. He's a big part of there.
Okay.
And he's been in the U18s, U19s, U20s for Norway. He was called up for the U20s for Norway this season. So, yeah, that's all the information that I can find on Heine so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, it gives us a little bit more info. I think I'm excited by the prospect of. I feel like we're missing a player like this in our team, right? Like,
yeah, and obviously next
Cesar
season
could do a bit of that, but
next season we may not be counting on Nico. You know,
yeah,
it could be. Also, you know, it's a player that again, it's versatile. It kind of fits what Orlando City signs. And again, you know, as I know people expect, you know, they see LAFC getting Giroud, they see, you know, that's not us, guys. Let's just say it's not us. You know, we did a little different. Now, personally, I would have. And again, you know, maybe the timing is not right. Maybe the timing it's right with Europe right now, with Eastern European or like other European countries for teams like, you know, Iceland and Norway and other teams like that. But I think it would have fit for it to be a South American, maybe like another maybe prospect that could play an 8 role or a 6 role from South America, from maybe the Argentinian league or the Brazilian league. You know, there's always players that are going to pan out and it will fit right away. But then, you know, again, and again, you know, this kid seems really good, a lot of future. But then again, you know, don't be also killing this kid, because I remember, because if he doesn't pan out the way it is, you know, that's sometimes the gamble you take, you know. But I give my full faith on the scouting department for the club. I think they have more good players coming our way than bad apples, you know. So I think their winning percentage is good. So I'm delighted for Heine Bruseth to come over and hopefully see him with a purple headband, John. We're all gonna have to wear headbands. You're gonna have to wear a
with
headband,
the purple
John.
headband. We'll get him one. We'll get you a purple headband. But
I will wear purple headband.
I think we've done well out of Scandinavia, man. So I'm all for it. This seems like the kind of guy that would work for what we've been doing and been successful with. So, also, Luis, don't forget that this is a scouting department that some years ago identified the great Julian Alvarez. Yeah. And what could have been Major League Shill tweeted this one today. And I remember, we all, you know, shoulda, woulda, coulda.
We could have offered another 4 to 6 million, man.
But the fact that we even found the guy and we're trying to get him, you know, that's great. That's where we want to be in the global soccer world. So shout out to the scouting department and Ricardo and everybody.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I'm sure they're working really hard right now to get some deals over the line and bringing some player in and getting ready for the off season, right? Their job never stops, Luis. They're always scouting, always looking for players.
Yep. Now we're talking about a little bit of Orlando City players, you know. I have a little info here before we run to comments. No player in MLS has covered more total distance per 90 minutes than Nicolas Lodero this season, 11.4. So this is, and now he's a veteran in the league, and look how much minutes he's gotten with Orlando City.
He just, his play style, man. He's just constantly moving around. Like he's he's just always running,
That's right. GoldTube TV says Europeans look down on MLS. Hell, even Canadians do. They were making fun of us Peruvians because they think MLS is our limit, but it is our limit, unfortunately. Well, Canadians tend to go to Europe, lol. Well, yeah, I mean, Canadians are they're already assimilated to kind of Europe. They're kind of in a way Europe, you know. So yeah, it's a little different. GoTube TV says, imagine the Spanish narrator saying "Vagina, vagina." Yeah, it sounds like what he's saying, but God obviously using John's pronunciation says,
Heine. Heine. I mean,
yeah, it says, do
a
you
Heine
think?
is something different from Heine,
Yeah, but
right?
va in Spanish,
No,
Heine,
no,
get
we're
it,
not
right?
going there. We're not going there,
Right,
Luis.
right, right. Get it. Now you get it.
Oh, I
Stuff's
got
gonna
it.
be,
I just,
Stuff's
I'm
gonna be like,
just
what are you
not going
saying?
there.
What are you saying, John? Joshua Tall,
Heine.
do you think we will get him? Well, probably. It's a big chance. You have to understand, a lot of clubs when they hear MLS, they think ka-ching, ka-ching too. They want to make their bucks.
I mean, Christensen does not. This
Yeah,
is this
I
is a
know
small. This is their big sale of the year. They're
exactly.
building
Of their
from them, and
the
this is
last
not a
5 years.
big team at all. He's probably, their one of their most expensive players.
Joshua Tall said, "Thanks for the info on him. Seems like a good fit if we get him." There you go. Thank you guys for your support. We also have some other news. They're not breaking news, but they're out. Um, Sebas Mendes. You guys remember Sebas Mendes? Do you remember,
Yeah,
John?
of course.
So Sebas Mendes may be making his way back into the MLS.
Oh,
Apparently, nothing's panning out in Sao Paulo, and according to my colleagues there in Brazil, they're looking to sell him, and they already put him the for sale. And a couple of MLS teams have asked about him. One of them being Charlotte to probably reunite with Junior Urso. But one that he's probably close to sign, according to info that I got from Brazil, is San Jose Earthquakes. It's really close on signing him. So I don't know if we're
oh,
going to be. Yep. So,
I wouldn't mind that for Seba. I think that's a good team for him.
yep. And then Ruan again changing teams in less than 2 years.
No, it's not even 6 months, bro.
Yeah. And then
No, yeah.
going to FC Dallas.
Some of our old players, bro,
Going to
they've
FC
fallen
Dallas.
on hard times,
29-year
Traded
old.
for 50K, bro. 50K that somehow turns into 150K. I don't know how that works, but
I don't know, but
Montreal saying we got 150, but then here they in exchange was 50K. So I don't know where the other 100K comes from, but either way,
so it's probably 100
small
for
potatoes
it's
for
probably
Hua.
100 for next year and 50 for this year.
Yeah, I think so. It's on the
But I
2025
mean,
allocation.
he's going to a better team.
I got nothing. I got, what has it been?
Are we gonna phase Ron again with Dallas? That'd be hilarious.
Huan is turning into
Into Orlando more than
no, he's turning into the Kai Kamara of right backs. Like
right?
just the journeyman of right backs.
Oh my God! Yeah, we're gonna be phasing Ron again. September
DC,
28th.
Montreal, now Dallas. Like that's 3 clubs. It feels like he only just left us.
We're gonna be
that long
facing
ago.
September 28th, John. We're gonna go to Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I guess we'll just have to watch the speed because that's all he's got, right? And teams will figure that out. I mean, I feel bad. I feel like the wingback thing. I thought maybe this will work for him. I think he's just not producing clearly.
yeah.
So
we should definitely, if we play against him again, I guarantee he's gonna start if we play against him again.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, Dallas aren't incredible, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets in that team.
Yep. So, anyways, we definitely wanna thank you for your support, guys. We're about 60 people live right now. We're about 45 on X and about 14 people on YouTube. So thank you so much. Check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We're in audio form. Also on X at LP underscore podcast, Instagram at LP underscore podcast, Facebook, Loud and Proud Orlando, and YouTube as LP underscore podcast or Loud and Proud Orlando. Anything else you want to say before we go, John? We had a good weekend, with the Pride and all that. Tomorrow we have the Pride Pod.
Yeah, man. I think it's gonna be a little strange because we got a few weeks here with no city, no Pride, a little bit of a summer break for us, which is nice. So no
But
Thursday pod this week
okay,
because there's not much to talk about, and I think
there's
we
going
can
to be a
go.
video that we're going to put out though.
Yeah, we'll
But
do some content, of course. We'll be monitoring, and I don't know. Maybe if we sign Heine before
yeah, we may
Thursday,
come out.
then we'll do one. How about that? If
I'll
we
go to
sign
Michael's,
Heine
get
because the
a
window
purple
closes,
bandana.
if we sign Heine, we'll do something on Thursday to talk about him. But yeah, we're gonna kind of take our foot off the gas for a little minute here, and get ready, just like the players will. Right? It's a little reset as everybody gets ready for this final push, man. The last few games of MLS, and let's hope we can finish strong.
Next week, we're preparing hopefully a series of interviews.
Ooh, breaking
Hopefully,
exclusive.
hopefully that pans out the way we want to. So, I haven't sent the email yet in case the club is watching. So I'll be sending some emails, like the keyboard cat, you know, and we'll see. We're gonna have some content for City and for Pride, right? And yeah, just very humble for the support. We had the pleasure of meeting the people from Black Swans on that event. I'm sure there's going to be a city event also, and then we're going to work hard to have our own event at some point too before the season ends, hopefully. So, but
So many
anyways,
things we want to do, Luis.
yeah,
We just there needs to be like 5 of us, and then we could do everything that we want
yeah.
to do. But we're busy people.
Yeah,
We got a lot going on.
Yaki says, I hope they get a friendly because 3 weeks is too long. Yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be
I
cool.
think they'll do some like OCB scrimmage games. I think that'll happen. I don't know if we'll see it, but I think it'll be happening behind doors.
We should play the Rowdies, man.
Well, that's I mean, I would say
Yeah.
people go if you're the Craven Soccer, OCB is still playing. They played
No, I'm talking
Friday
about the
night.
first team. The first team.
The first team, I don't think.
I mean, they got 3 weeks, right?
I don't want to risk injury against the Rowdies, man. That's not. But yeah, some inter squad friendlies. I would be surprised. I don't think they're doing anything. I
we
think
can make our own cup, kind of like in Barcelona. You got the Joel Gamper, or like on the EPL when they have like their own, their own cups. We can make the Kingston Cup, right? It'd be great. Just kind of gear up the rest of the season. But anyways, anything else
Yeah,
you want to add, John, before we go?
well, OCB the 18th. So your next chance of soccer is this Sunday
There you
at
go.
home, 7:00. So I think I'm gonna go to that one. I'm gonna do
The
it.
OCB against
Yeah,
who?
OCB New York City FC 2.
I'm gonna see if I can go. It seems like a pretty good game to go and check out.
Maybe we'll cover that. We're
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll
toying
go.
about
Maybe
doing
we'll
a
go and
whole
cover
episode on
that.
OCB. This would be the time to do a
I would
little
like to go
deep
as a
dive.
fan. Probably go as a
Yeah,
fan.
we'll go. We'll do it. We'll do an episode on it. I think that'll be fun.
We'll do
So
some pogoing.
that we'll do some interviews. We'll fill the time till we're
Yeah.
we're back playing. But you guys stick here with us, and obviously we'll be watching the transfer window. As you said, it closes in a couple days. So
Yep.
Heine will, Heine won't. We'll see.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for your support. Again, check us out on social media. If you're listening, thank you so much for your support as well. And like always, vamos Orlando, guys. Have a
Vamos,
wonderful night.
Orlando.
Vamos Orlando. Have a good one.